What's up, all the Hardies and Hardos out there? Here we are, episode 19. We got a guest joining us today. Spinny, you want to introduce Connor?
Yeah, since Bus's classic Wi-Fi is choking this intro, as is usual. Connor is one of my good friends that knows a lot about the NBA, and I'll let him introduce himself on the rest of it.
Without further ado, Spinny. So Dylan and I have known each other for way too long. I guess a little bit very fast about myself. I help co-host a show, pretty much weekly segment during the NBA season called Full Court Press on Al in the Afternoon, which is a radio show in Mankato, but southern Minnesota broadly. And the guys were gracious enough to come on, and hopefully we'll be on again here soon to talk some NBA action. And now things are wrapped up, so I figure we hop on and gloat and make fun of Spinny for his horrible takes.
Oh, God, I won't be the only one.
We're supposed to start yet, yeah.
This is going to be a bad episode for me, fans. It's just going to be the rain on Spinny parade this episode. So I'm going to win trivia for y'all, just so I'm not, horrible the whole time. But other than that, it's going to be a tough one for me.
All right, let's just dive into it then, huh, guys? We might as well not wait any longer. Game 5. Warriors won 104-94. What were you guys' first reactions from this game? Connor, we'll let you go first.
Yeah, so right away watching the game, first of all, to me, I think this is where I actually started to feel confident in my bet that the Warriors would beat the Celtics. Throughout the season, I did think the Warriors were the best team in the NBA at various parts. And at the beginning of the postseason, and we had a discussion, and I said that I thought that they were the best team in the league and they would win the championship. Right away in the series, I didn't feel super confident. I will say game 1 is a different story. I didn't think that the Celtics deserved that one. But going into game 5 and deep into the second quarter, I was surprised that the Warriors came out. It hadn't been really characteristic of them to win the first quarter. They always seem to be a little bit of sleep, and obviously we're a strong third quarter team. So moving into the second half, obviously the Celtics in the last both games played a lot better in the third quarter versus the beginning. So my initial impression was, holy smokes, the Warriors came to play, and obviously the result is what it was.
The biggest takeaway for me from this game was Wiggins. I mean, he was on a different level this game, and it pains me to say that as a Wolves fan, honestly, but 26 and 13, that man balled out. He was the best player in game 5, that's for sure. I mean, Curry didn't even hit a 3 in game 5, which is crazy
0 for 9.
to think about. Yeah,
right.
0 for 9, wow. But he obviously came back in game 6 and bounced back the right way. Another takeaway I had was the points in the paint. Usually that's a category the Celtics need to win, at least definitely against the Warriors. And the Warriors won that 50-36 in game 5. So that didn't bode well for the Celtics, and I'm sure that's why we ended up seeing the Warriors pull away with that win.
The Celtics cannot get out-boarded. You get out-boarded by the Warriors, that's tough. That's probably the Celtics.
They got out-rebounded too? I didn't even see that. Damn.
Well, O-boards, yeah. To your point, exactly. And watching the game, it felt like, how is this tiny team, the Warriors, out rebounding the Celtics? Now, the Celtics ended up getting a handful more rebounds overall in the game, not O-boards like Spinny said, but that shows the paint presence, the scoring, and the scrappy defense, frankly, that the Warriors played. The fact that the impression was that they were winning in the paint and getting all the rebounds and everything when they weren't technically shows how scrappy they were playing.
And it was 39-35 Celtics. So, it was a lot closer than most of the beginning games of the series, whether the Warriors actually won it at the end or not. The other thing this game was, the big issue this game was 13 turnovers from Brown, Smart, and Tatum. That when your three main ball handlers are turning over 4 and 5 times a game. And, man, even the turnovers seemed worse than the numbers were. They all were just what?
Yeah, they were just careless turnovers.
And just at awful times. They make a little run to come back, and then
two turnovers in a row.
Yeah.
I was hyping this man up going into this series, but Jaylen Brown could not dribble in the finals. It's just not like his dribbling was fantastic, but it's just we're just gonna not dribble this series, I think.
This not to get too macro, but you just hit it right on the head. I think that was the thing to me that I don't gamble on sports. I kind of wish I did because I feel like that would be a lot of fun. But if I did, the reason I would have put my money on the Warriors here was kind of the championship DNA, the having been there before, the having had the success versus the younger guys, the energy, the Jason Tatum, the Jaylen Brown team. To me, it always comes out in execution, and the turnovers was, to me, the reason the Celtics didn't quite get it done over the course of the whole series. I mean, and it's not 100%. Just turnovers, but it's you didn't get the defensive stop right then when you needed it. Or like you said, you came down and you've got a little momentum. You scored a couple of times uncontested, and then you had 2 turnovers, and it absolutely stopped your momentum. Gave the Warriors, who, like I said, have all this experience in the playoffs, it gave them the ability to go make a run, and they make runs. I mean, they run the ball hard and they score just in droves. So I actually think that the turnovers was the biggest story of the entire series, and I think the real product of, or the reason that those things happened was just the experience. But I'll tell you what, I think the Celtics learned a lot.
Yeah, I completely agree with what you said about the turnovers. That's for sure the key difference here. And I mean, they were struggling with turnovers all playoffs too, but against the Warriors, you cannot turn the ball over in the live court, especially because they can run in transition like no one else.
And Draymond will let you hear about it.
Exactly, and they're going to let you hear about it too. So yeah, that
this was speaking of that. This was the first good Draymond game of the series,
right?
Sure. Yeah, he had a great game.
Okay, 8, 7, and 6, but his impact on this game was actually good. His defense was actually good. He wasn't getting taken to the rack whenever he wanted by Jaylen Brown, and that really changed. I think the mentality, especially of the Warriors, and his passing. There was some passes that were like, holy, like it vintage Draymond stuff. So you got to give him credit.
Himself. Yep.
Once everybody gave him crap, his mom called him out. His mother called him out on Twitter, called him a bum, essentially. So
and now he's calling out the entire world.
Yeah, he is, man. Hey, but great content from his, as you can tell from his views. So
I guess so.
Well, before we jump into Game 6, I do want to mention we did say the 13 turnovers for the main 3 for the Celtics. They had 18 total, and Golden State only had 6. So 12 turnover differential. You're not going to win. You're not going to win doing that. There's no way. Moving on to Game 6, though. No, you can say what you got.
Well, I was just going to say that's a mixture of the youngness and kind of the inexperience I mentioned, but it also is the Warriors put the clamps down. I mean, they really did play tough defense. And honestly, I would say Spinny might have thoughts on this, but I would actually say I liked the way this finals and actually this playoffs was officiated more probably this year than I have in years past, in terms of a little bit of letting them play, keeping things under control. But I felt like professional basketball, professional scrappiness, and I actually enjoyed how the refs called the game, and that leads to what level of scrappiness you can play on defense, right?
I would agree with you for half the games. I would say for the finals was officiated well, very well. One of the first series I thought was officiated well. The other series, we'd have some games like you're talking about, which is what I like, where it's like we let them play a bit, you kind of try to find a balance, but don't let them go over the top. Yeah. But in the Bucks and Heat series with Boston especially, it was like every other game. One game you could shove them, and the next game you couldn't touch them. So it was up and down, but I thought the good games, there was more of those. The only thing I had exception to in the finals was the fact that Draymond can do twice as much as anybody else and not get a T. If he gets 1 T right away, he pays a 1 technical penalty at the beginning, and then he can say 3 times as much as anybody else and not get T because they don't want to throw him out.
He's got he's got the cheapest first technical and the most expensive second technical in the league.
Yes,
that's a great way to put it.
It's just with that sometimes, but yeah. And I guess I can't complain too much. Smart is flop nation, so.
Oh yeah,
I'll be honest. I don't think he showed he was the defensive player of the year at all in this series. It was tough, and I mean, your matchup is Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and Jordan Poole. It's not like it's scrubs. I mean, even in his minutes where the stars are sitting, he's playing against just freaking quickest guy on the planet in Jordan Poole. So I mean, it's you got to give him some credit. But yeah, I think quickly, and again, that's some of that experience piece, right? when your only move is to turn to flopping and sort of scrappy, but not the fundamental, I'm just going to make a stop defense, you start to get in some trouble.
He did get screwed sometimes, though. Like Jordan Poole flopping on him when he literally didn't touch him at all.
Yeah,
so
they definitely gave it back
that way.
Right.
And that's tough as referees, obviously, because, like, you've got so many things in your head and everyone's flopping. And that's tough on both ways. Game 6. Did I ever talk about Game 6? I was just rambling there for a minute, but
we're going into it now.
I want my one Game 6 takeaway, and that is that despite not being able to dribble, Jaylen Brown was still the most consistent offensive player for Boston this series, which was impressive to me, I guess. I thought Tatum was going to be the guy to step up and get her done, but honestly, it was more Brown in this series, so I got to give him credit for that. And again, there has been much history for 24-year-old players that take their team to the finals performing at a mid or less level and them later becoming great players. If you look at LeBron's 24 Cavs, yes. If you look at those stats from both those guys, they're pretty darn close. So I have faith that Tatum's going to come back and be better. But obviously you can't have a negative impact as the best player on a team, and he did at some points in this series. And you cannot lose a game that the other team's best player goes 0 for 9 from 3. So you just those are things in the finals that you can't do as a superstar. But I think Tatum will learn from it and be back. And I like Brown's consistency. And get in the gym and learn how to dribble, buddy. I want to see some dribbling every day from you all summer. All summer dribbles from Jaylen Brown.
Jalen's got to dribble, and Tatum needs to figure out how to not have such a whack-looking jump shot. But other than that, they're just fine.
But Tatum's three-point shooting in the finals was amazing.
I'll be honest, it was very frustrating. Yeah, it was very frustrating to watch this whole thing just swacking every time. And he was covered, too. He was not open in a lot of those shots. I mean, right in his shorts. Impressive. And I could, like you're saying, I could see him being just a fantastic star. I mean, he already is, right? But he's definitely going to win a ring in his career. But I agree. I thought Jaylen Brown was the guy that I was most scared of in this series as a Warriors homer. Yeah, I mean, Tatum, Brown 34, 7 and 3 in that Game 6. Yeah, he seemed to be the only one that came ready to play. I mean, elimination game, you want your guy, your number one guy, Jason Tatum, putting up numbers like that, and he came out with a 13, 7 and 3 stat line. So he was just completely non-existent in Game 6, and he seemed like almost for stretches of the game, I don't want to say the whole game, but for sure stretches of the game, he seemed like he didn't even necessarily care that he was out there. Like, they got down by 20, and it kind of looked like they gave up, honestly. That's what it looked like to me. And yeah, that's when it led to Smart becoming more of a flopper instead of a defender. And everything just hit the fan for the Celtics in Game 6. And then the Warriors won 4-2.
18 turnovers from the starting lineup of the Boston Celtics.
18 in that game?
18 from the starting 5, 22 total.
22 total, yeah. 5
for Tatum, 5 for Brown, 3 for Smart. Again, 13 turnovers back-to-back games for those three to combine. You're not going to win games like that, peeps. You're not.
The other thing that to me sort of switched throughout the course of the series, and this I probably would have tried to argue this at the beginning of the series, that I think the Warriors are a deeper team in general with the Celtics, but I actually think it would have been a tougher argument then than it is now. And I mean, you can say that the team lost, obviously, but I actually think that the Celtics bench shrunk a little bit, and that happens in the big games. But I actually think the guys that had come off had good minutes, even really good minutes at the beginning of the series, right? I think they definitely got outplayed, but I think they sort of disappeared. And that's tough too, right? When your number one guy, Jason Tatum, or even Brown having a bad night, or Marcus Smart's not feeling it defensively, whatever it is, if you can't get 2 minutes, sit on the bench, recalibrate, talk to the coach, see what's going on, and you go back in, and now there's even more momentum the other direction, it's so tough to play at that level.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think Grant Williams, he was non-existent in the finals, and think about how big he was the entire playoffs for them. So, yeah, that's a great point.
And take out Derek White's game 1, and he was broken the entire series as well.
Yeah.
So that was a guy that Boston needed. Smart, White, or Williams, or Grant Williams. One of those 3 guys had to be hitting threes for them to have a good chance, especially with Tatum playing how he was. And despite all that, these were in Boston's grasp. Game 5 and Game 6, they had multiple opportunities to take advantage and come back, and it was like just untimely things consistently at those big moments. So
right. Like I said, I think there is a silver lining. I think that the Celtics, you learn a lot in the feeling of defeat, especially at your place. When you're watching, trophies and champagne and
the Warriors would know.
Yeah, well, all right, yeah. Well, I was going to say, you want to talk about the last time Draymond actually pulled off getting a second technical in the finals. You see why the league maybe doesn't want to do that again. But neither here nor there. I think that they're going to learn a lot. I really do. I think the Celtics come out to me as the favorite again in the East. And I actually think, other than maybe Milwaukee, I think that they've got the most championship pedigree type experience, type grit of any team in the East, other than Milwaukee because they got it done. I think the Celtics are the team to beat in the East still moving forward.
Yeah, I can maybe agree with that too. I think for sure at least the Bucks and Celtics. I definitely agree with that.
Right.
I was wondering if the Celtics would have been able to beat the Bucks this year if Middleton was healthy. So that's interesting to see. Maybe next year we'll see if that.
I don't think
hopefully
the Dubs
they play
win
each
the
other.
title if Middleton is healthy. I think the Bucks.
Goodness.
I think the Bucks healthy beat both these teams. I honestly do. I really believe that.
Well, now you're getting me. This is your show, but now you're getting me into this debate. Let's give Steph Curry his flowers. For all the talk of a guy that never shows up when the game's on the line or in elimination games or in fourth quarters or even the slander of he doesn't show up when momentum's in the wrong direction, right? When they're at risk of going down 20, 30, 40 points, they're going to lose. He showed up, won his finals MVP. I don't know, even as the biggest Steph Curry fan on the planet, if I would put him top 10 all time right now. But I got to tell you, that guy showed up. And he earned every bit of it.
Well, I'm glad you said that because I've heard and seen way too many people say, "Oh, Steph Curry's already top 5. Oh, Steph's actually better than LeBron." I've heard that numerous times, and they were being dead ass. Yes, they're being dead ass.
No, anyone who thinks that at this point needs to have their brain examined.
Spinny, Brett just told us that this past weekend.
Yeah, he needs to have his brain examined. Exactly.
But
I'll tell you what, though, something I've watched a lot of Steph Curry basketball. I mean, a lot. I did not realize that he is the number 1 postseason ISO scorer in the last, I don't remember what the number was, like 20 seasons or something like that. He has more points in ISO. And guys that come to mind are LeBron James, Kevin Durant, right? But he's the guy that gets it done. And that's, I would tell you that I think the Warriors have a weaker system than they've had in their past championship runs right now. I think that they don't pass the ball as well as they have in the past. They do a little more ISO ball, and their bench actually is more ISO. I think Jordan Poole loves dribbling and shaking and shimmying to get to the rim. So there's a little bit of potential weakness there, but I've heard people say this is the least skilled Warriors team that's won a championship. I don't know if I buy that. You don't have Kevin Durant. I'll give you that. The difference between Kevin Durant and Andrew Wiggins, sure, but I got to be honest, the bench guys and the young guys coming up, this is a tough team. And frankly, Steph could spend the next 4 years turning into a late career Ray Allen and still end with 6 rings. I mean, you come talk to me in 2 seasons when he's got another ring and another MVP, and we'll compare him to LeBron.
Holy cow, guys. We're jumping way ahead on this bad boy here. I think there's going to –
ever.
Well, I mean, come on. That's
greatest scorer ever?
No. Come on. Get out of here. I do have one question for you, though. I'm going to spring on you because I think you might be realistic about this, but where do you think Steph Curry ranks among point guards all time?
Yeah. So it's him or Magic, right? I mean, I think that's absolutely where the debate is. I don't think you can add Isaiah Thomas. You can't.
No.
I would say it's tough. Here's the thing. I actually think that Magic had – I want to say Steph, but right now I can't give it to him. I think he's still number 2. I think Magic had more help, but it's just so tough. The greatness – the thing to me is greatness is not just about, well, he's got 5 rings and he's got this and he's got that, and here's the, you know, the report card of what his career was. Greatness is an aura thing. I think Steph's might be from a hype culture, again, greatness, kind of the aura standpoint. I think Steph might be top 5 all time. From a basketball career, I don't think you can quite put him above Magic. But I'm going to be honest, if he just goes for 3 more years and just kind of plays they don't even have to win another championship for me, and he'll overtake Magic. I don't think he needs another championship. I don't think he needs another MVP, but I think he does need to be great for another couple of seasons. He needs to still do that, but I don't think he's far. I think they're very much like 1A, 1B. Yeah, I don't know. You might like that answer, you might not.
No, I'm in agreement with you. I think it's realistic. I have Magic a little higher than that, I think, because I think that Magic changed the game in the same way that Steph Curry did. They obviously did it in different ways, but they both changed the NBA. The NBA, when Magic and Bird came in, is close to modern day NBA as far as the athleticism and the running and the Showtime Lakers stuff. That change from the NBA before that to after that is huge. Right. Curry obviously changed with the 3-point, so I think you can compare them on those upper levels as well. But yeah, I think Steph's too. So
here's a controversial piece that I actually think I would die on this hill. I think Steph Curry is a more skilled basketball player than Magic Johnson was. I think if you put them in the same body, if you made Steph 6'9" and whatever Magic was 225 or something, and had him have the same skill set, he'd be the greatest basketball player that's ever walked the planet.
I'll probably agree with that, actually.
Magic's a bit better of a passer for sure, but the reality is Steph's a fantastic passer. He just doesn't do that much because that's not his role. I mean, he does facilitate, but the guy's never going to average 12, 18 assists a game because that's just not his role. But putting that aside, let's say Magic is 100 times better passer than Steph. I would even argue that Steph would be a better defender at 6'9", 225. I would argue that he's probably the greatest offensive threat you've ever seen on a basketball court if he wasn't in an improved but skinny, small point guard body. And actually, it's part of my argument that I think he's more skilled than LeBron at this point too. But now I'm really setting hair on fire.
The reason I think that's hard is because I feel like your body is part of your skill set, and it's like I can't. If Steph was Shaq and still had the skills that he had, he's the most unstoppable player in the history of the world. But it's that's what's a little hard for me on that one, is I feel like body type has to be part of skill. And that's why Kevin Durant to me is what I would say the most skilled player, the most the best scorer or whatever, is because he's got all those same skills and he's got the 7-foot body and he's got the unblockable shot essentially. So it's kind of all how you interpret it on that one. But Steph Curry's skill is I definitely can't be spreading the slander that Kyrie's more skilled than Steph anymore. I feel like that's slander. That's a little slander.
That never should have.
Even though Kyrie has better handles and stuff, but other than that,
I'd even argue that. Honestly, I wouldn't even. I almost don't even agree with. It's close. He's flashier. Steph's more. Yeah. He's not as tight. He's messier. But anyway, true. And and Fetty, we've been talking to him. You might have a take on this, but my thing is, in my mind, I split up greatness. When you talk top 10 lists, when people talk top 10 lists, they're talking greatest basketball players that ever lived. And to me, that's a mixture of domination, and that's your athleticism, that's your body, that's your just sheer will on the court, on the field, the court. That's a mixture of your skills and your basketball ability, including your basketball mind, your hard and soft skills, right? Your shooting, your passing, your defense, those types of things. And then to me, it's the aura. It's the Bird walking in going, okay, walking into 3-point contest, who's working for second place tonight, or walking in and going into the other team locker room and saying, hey, I'm going to get 40 with my left hand tonight, and then doing it. It's Michael Jordan walking in a room and everyone literally has to go empty their shorts. It's that. So to me, it's this mixture. And that's where I break it out and I say, well, you got to kind of take the well, LeBron's a 6'10" crazy freak, 260, runs a 4.5,
Yeah.
It's never going to be in that guy's wheelhouse. Like one-on-one, that argument. Well, yeah, that's not even close. But that's how I think about it in my mind. But I don't know, Fetty, if you have thoughts on where he ranks, all time or as point guards go.
Well, I want to dip back a little bit to the Magic Curry debate when you said that he doesn't need to win another ring, and I'm actually completely agreeing with that. I think he just maybe a little more of that longevity aspect of it. Like you said, get a couple more years of this production. I don't see why not. I mean, does Magic have 5 rings or is it only 4?
I think he has 5, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of how I see it. And I agree with you on the aspect of the aura of it. Like it's Steph Curry. Like you see him and you're shocked because it's like, this is the best shooter to ever touch the court. And it's not even close, actually.
No one has ever guarded him. No other player in NBA history has been guarded the way Steph Curry gets guarded ever, and still had ever been guarded that way. And then on top of that, had production. No, never. Show me one player that gets
around
picked up
and face guarded the whole time.
Show me one player that gets picked up, double teamed at half court. There's not a single player ever. Not Jordan, not LeBron, no one. Not Magic, not Shaq.
I don't. Player. The player I'm thinking of isn't like even that all time of a great, but I think his full half court and up scoring ability is on the same level.
If you say Jimmer Fredette, I will leave the podcast right now.
That would have been great, but no, I'm thinking about Dame Lillard, honestly.
Dame, yeah. I knew you were gonna say that.
I don't know the last time
he gets guarded like that, but Steph was the original. Steph was the first one to do that. He changed all that, and he's the best at it. So it's not like
by far
everyone to do it since then is just like mimicking him, essentially, like Trae Young or Dame or guys like that have done that, backing up the shooting range. So and Steph's obviously better than them as well. So both of those things get essentially irrelevant, but
yeah. 1B. That's my final answer right now. 1B.
1B.
Ask me again in 2 seasons. 1B.
Okay.
No, I'm with you there. 1B is where I'm putting him right now. On point guards, top 10. He's close to my top 10. He might have snuck in there, honestly, because I'm pretty sure I had
14. 12 through 14.
Pretty sure I had KD at 10, and I have to put Curry ahead of KD at this point. So he's close to my top 10.
Somebody said drop Tim Duncan, and I'm pretty close to agreeing with that.
Oh,
yeah. That's interesting.
But also, this is a whole other conversation. But Kobe's not in the top 10 either. But we don't want to have that conversation.
Kobe's better than Steph right now, for sure. Not for sure. I don't think he has to win another ring. I think they're very close, but I'm taking Kobe over Steph. Kobe also won his last 2 rings changed it a lot for me because he won it with a guy who's not a top 75 player.
And Kobe's otherworldly on defense. Kobe is the epitome of a two-way player too. So you have to give him the nod here. But again, I actually don't think Steph needs to win another ring to overtake Kobe either.
I don't necessarily think another ring, but
I don't think
something in Pat. You need a better stats comparison and such like that. But that's the level that Steph's at, right? Those guys like 8 to 14 of all time. Wherever you want to put in there. I think you got Jordan, Bron, Kareem, Magic, like those 4, and then there's like Bird and Timmy and whoever you want to put in that next list, and then you got like those 8 to 14 guys.
So here's the tough thing: if you're gonna say that Steph could overtake Magic as the best point guard ever, how can he not overtake him in the top 10 list?
No, I mean he could. I'm not saying he can't be top.
No, I'm just kind of like, man, the math almost doesn't compute. If in 3 seasons I say, yeah, he's better than Magic all time, he's kind of got to be up there in that top 5 to who knows range. If Magic's up there,
but I don't think it would take 3 seasons, and I think it would take another championship or like a deep playoff run or another first team All NBA or 2, or there's multiple ways he could do it, but there does have to be accomplishments yet to come. I think for him to move up into that category.
Yeah, I agree with that. Just
I
a skinny
agree.
kid from Davidson.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
skinny
I
kid.
mean, and most relatable all-time great for the regular person of all time, for sure.
Absolutely.
Like you take those top 15 guys, it's like, oh, this guy's like 6'1", 180 from like it's like he's like just I don't know, regular dude. So that's
Yeah,
I think he's changed the popularity among kids of basketball even more for that reason as well. It's just relatable.
Absolutely.
Well, Connor, do you have any closing thoughts? Or otherwise, we'll wrap up this segment and send you on your way. But
no, I look forward to having the exact same conversation, except a year from now when they've won another one and they're starting their three-peat here, and then we can really trash on Kevin Durant for being fake at that point.
It's going to be funny next year when Kyrie goes to the Clippers and then the Warriors don't even get out of the West.
Ooh, if you think that's going to get the Clippers out of the West, you are nuts. All right.
We'll get you on again. We'll get you on again, sir.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. We'll have you on our show, too.
Peace.
Thanks for coming on, Connor. I kind of cut him off too early there. Whoops.
Jeez, what a jerk, Buzz. All the Hardos hate you now. Stop.
Shut up.
All right. What do we got on the docket, sir?
The next segment, we're going to talk off-season predictions. Spinny and I are just going to make some maybe bold predictions. I don't know. Some people might be in agreement with us, so they might not call it bold, but we're gonna try to predict some things here. Spinny, do you want to start it off, or do you want me to throw out my first one?
How would you throw out your first one?
Okay. My first prediction here about the offseason, DeAndre Ayton, he is out of Phoenix. He is never going to play well, I shouldn't say never. You never know if he'll find his way back. But he will not play for the Suns next year. That's my prediction. And I have two teams that I think he will land on. I don't know who it's going to be, but I got two teams in my mind, Blazers and Hawks. I think the Blazers, they obviously need a big man. They've been lacking a big man for essentially ever. So I think they could be in play. And I also think the Hawks could be in play because obviously we see this every day, how they're trying to dump Capella, and they could offer a sign and trade centered around Capella, probably like Herter, maybe even have thrown John Collins. I don't know. But those are two teams that have enough to offer for a sign and trade for DeAndre and that need athletic big man like him. So that's my first prediction, is that one, he's definitely done in Phoenix. And my second part of that prediction would be he's going to be a Blazer or a Hawk next year.
I don't hate that. I would not pay Ayton as a GM, but I obviously know there'll be some GMs out there that pay him. So I think those are two good destinations. All right. My take that I just revealed, so we might as well start out with it. Kyrie to the Clippers for Luke Kennard and Marcus Morris. If Kyrie,
you think that's enough?
That's enough for the salaries to match. And if you look at all the other Kyrie trades out there, there's not a ton that I think would be better or that the other teams would suspect. I'm just going to go down the Kyrie trade ladder quick of ones I thought of. Okay?
Let's hear it.
All right. Brunson sign and trade with Dallas. Does Dallas do that?
I don't know, honestly.
Like the double sign and trade,
Right.
Okay. Miami, Lowry, and Duncan Robinson.
I could see that one more. I like that one more than the other one you just said.
And then my third one was the big Lakers situation with a third team facilitating like OKC or Houston, where the Lakers get Kyrie, that Houston OKC team would get Westbrook and picks, and then Brooklyn ends up with like a Lou Dort type of situation or a John Wall situation or something along those lines. I think any of those could work, and I think
so. Either way, you're on the Kyrie Irving is not going to be a net next year.
I I think that's the feeling I get. There is a possibility, I think, that they do get him there for like a 1 year prove it on his player option. I could see that potentially happening, but I from what reading the articles today, it seems like they're really, really far apart on what they're thinking. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Obviously, KD, if I don't know how committed he is to Kyrie, how much he's gonna go to the organization to bat for him and such like that. But obviously, you don't want to make KD unhappy. So,
right, yeah, I don't know. It's a situation developing for sure. As you said, that news kind of came out today or yesterday even maybe about him. They hit a crossroads in the contract talk. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. I was up until that story. I was on the Kyrie's going to be a net next year. I thought for sure they would be able to get that extension done, but it's not looking that way. And I guess low key, I'm probably hoping for a Kyrie LeBron reunion, but I don't think that's likely. I don't think the Lakers can give them enough. Like you said, I think some of those other trades they get more in return. So I don't think they really want a John Wall. I don't think they want Westbrook, the Nets, that is. So I'm kind of skeptical about a Lakers trade happening, but you never know, I guess. The Lakers will be aggressive. So I like that. But that'll lead into my next one. I might as well jump to this one since it's also involving a point guard. I think D'Lo's done. I think we're going to ship him out of here. I'm not necessarily for or against that. I would be indifferent depending on what we get in return. But the two teams that I think he will be in talks for would be the Knicks and the Clippers. Same obvious reason that you had Kyrie going to the Clippers. They need a point guard. I don't know what the deal would be centered around. I'm sure Morris would be involved. And I think I would maybe be okay with getting some quality vets like that on the Wolves for D'Lo. For the Knicks, I guess I don't know what the trade would be, but they obviously need a point guard. They need some scoring. So those are two viable options in my eyes. And so, yeah, that would be my bold prediction number 2 is that D'Lo is getting traded this offseason.
How about D'Lo for Rudy Gobert?
I would do that right now, 100%.
I don't know. I think that could be D'Lo, and we might have to give up a little more than that, depending on what Rudy's trade market. But I don't think it's that heck of a lot. That gets the Jazz a point guard type. Then they maybe move Mike Conley, try to move such around like that. But I kind of like the Cat and Gobert big combo situation, and then Ant is your main, obviously main guard force. I don't know. Interesting. I kind of tend to agree with you that I don't know if they love D'Lo, but there's a lot of complications I think that could come from that. But
right, like the relationship with Cat obviously being the main one. So, what do you got for number 2, Spinny? What's your second take here?
This one was really hard. I think we could see Bradley Beal taking his 5-year, $250 million contract and staying.
Wow!
I think I could see Bradley Beal. I think I could see Bradley Beal trolling us, getting us all hyped up, and then just signing his deal and going back to Washington. Just a feeling. Lots of rumors, though, to Miami and Boston for Bradley Beal.
Ooh. What would you think he got on your Celtics team?
Oh, I'd love it. I just don't know how it's possible. That would involve getting rid of Smart or Horford and trying to make – that would involve one of those two guys being out based on salary ability. So it kind of maybe be hard to facilitate. But, I mean, I love the idea of having Brown, Tatum, and Beal. I mean, that's obviously awesome. But I just want to make sure the team could fit around like that. It also means Tatum probably playing more 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know how I necessarily feel about that, and they still need a point guard.
Well, I guess I'm just going to piggyback right off of your take there. I'm going the other way, though. and I'm saying Beal is getting dealt probably in a sign and trade fashion, I would imagine. And my bold prediction here, I guess this is my third take here is more of like a 3A, 3B type situation. It's got two parts here. Zach LaVine and Bradley Beal. Those are the two parts. Neither of them will be on their teams next year. That's part one of the prediction. LaVine won't be a Bull, and Beal won't be a Wizard. And the two teams that I think they're going to end up on would be the Grizzlies and the Heat. I think the Grizzlies understand and know that they need another star besides Ja. Otherwise, they're not going to win. And they have young pieces and picks that they could be able to move for a Bradley Beal, or LaVine's obviously a free agent, so they would have to convince him to come there, which I'm kind of skeptical of that. But yeah, either way, Miami, Memphis, I think one of them could get Bradley Beal and the other one could get LaVine. So that would be my third hot take, is that those two aren't going to be on their teams next year, and they're going to be on the Grizzlies or the Heat, depending on who gets it done.
My third was also about Zach LaVine. I think Zach LaVine is going to be a San Antonio Spur. They have the cap. They have the cap room to outright sign him.
I have to sit back for that
teams. One of only 5 teams that does. They would be able to sign him outright, give him what he wanted, pair him with DeJounte Murray, and I think that'd be a sweet little backcourt there for the Spurs.
That's crazy. I was not expecting the Spurs. I was thinking maybe you'd say like the Blazers or something like that. But wow, Spurs. That would be crazy if he in free agency went there, because I feel like that's not very a free agent destination. So
probably not.
But I like the possible combo of LaVine and DeJounte Murray. That sounds fun to watch to me. Do you have a fourth take? I do.
You can have it. I don't.
All right. My last take would be about the Jazz situation here. They're trading Gobert, but not Mitchell. That would be my fourth take here. I think they're still going to try to build around Mitchell and compete with him. I think I got 3 teams on the watch list for a Gobert trade, and it would be the Hawks. Same reasons I said earlier. They need another big. So it'd be the same as DeAndre. And the Bulls, I've seen rumors about that. I don't necessarily know if I like that for them, but I saw rumors about potential trades involving Vucevic and Kobe White or something like that for Rudy Gobert. Again, I don't necessarily like that at all for the Bulls, but I've seen those rumors. So that would be the second team. And the third team, your NBA champions, Warriors. They obviously have enough pieces to be able to get a trade like that done. They've been wanting a big man like that forever. Kevon Looney is a free agent this year. There's a lot of reasons why the Warriors could be in play for Rudy Gobert. They could throw him Wiseman and maybe some picks. I don't know what it would take to get Rudy off the Jazz, but I think the Warriors could definitely be in play. So that would be my fourth take, is that Rudy's definitely getting traded. Donovan Mitchell's not. And then to one of those 3 teams. So I don't know. What are your thoughts about that Rudy take?
I don't hate it. I think that the trade value of both Mitchell and Gobert is lower than the Jazz value them. And I think the value of Mitchell is a lot lower than most average NBA fans would think it is, because of his inability on defense and his high usage rate and some of the Russell Westbrook type tendencies I think he has. I'm higher on Mitchell than that, but seems like to me that the league execs are not. So I think your Mitchell take makes sense, given that the Jazz might not be able to get what they think Mitchell's worth.
All right. Those are good thoughts. Before we wrap up this segment and jump to trivia, I do just quickly want to throw out some names here of free agents for those that don't know. So we've said a couple of these names already. Player options. These guys have player options. I don't know if I'm pretty sure none of them officially accepted them yet. But Kyrie, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Bradley Beal. Those would be the biggest names with player options. Some big names that are unrestricted free agents: Zach LaVine, Ricky Rubio is obviously not necessarily a big name, but there'll definitely be teams in play for him. Nurkic, Montrezl Harrell. Tyus Jones is free agent this offseason. Andre Drummond, Jalen Brunson, Victor Oladipo, he's finally back and healthy. So there's a number of unrestricted free agents, and then finally restricted free agents would be your sign and trade possible guys like DeAndre Ayton, Colin Sexton. That was another one we didn't get into in these predictions, but I'm expecting him to get moved. Miles Bridges, Anthony Simons. Those would be the biggest restricted free agent names out there. So a lot to come in these upcoming weeks, and I love it. I love the NBA offseason because crazy shit happens all the time. It's so fun. All right. Should we dump trivia or what?
Yeah, I think it's time for me to win.
All casual. You're losing this week. I'm feeling good, even though I say that every week.
All right.
I guess I gotta go first then, or you're asking first, right?
You can ask me first. I'll give you the advantage again.
You're gonna give me the advantage again. Am I gonna choke it away again?
That's how confident I am right now.
All right, your easy question then, Spinning.
Pride before fall, as they say.
Who was the 4th pick in the NBA draft last year?
Who was in the NBA draft last year?
Think about the rookies. You'll get it.
Cade.
I know.
Yeah, Cade, Green, Mobley, and Scotty Barnes. No. Didn't he go later? Nah, it's Scotty Barnes. Final answer, Scotty Barnes.
Correct. Scotty Barnes, 4th pick.
All right. Who has the most finals MVPs all time?
There's actually a definitive answer. There's not 2 tied.
There is an answer, yes.
Michael Jordan, final answer.
Correct. 6
I didn't know because
finals MVPs.
Does Kareem have 6 rings?
Yes, but Kareem split his finals MVPs with Magic on a couple of Magic ones. I think Kareem has 3 or 4, not 100%. I think 4.
Yeah, I thought it was 4. Okay. But all right, MJ, your medium question. So as you know, obviously, high school players used to be allowed to be drafted in the NBA. You obviously knew that. When did this get banned? What year was it not allowed to be a thing anymore? Now the rules, they have to be 1 year removed from high school. When did that change?
Was Dwight Howard the last one? It's right around that time. Let's say 2008. 2008 final.
Close. 2006 is when that switched. So you were close. Definitely close.
All right, my medium question. Worth 1 point apiece.
Okay. I like
most minutes in the NBA this season without playoffs, 1 question. With playoffs, 2nd question.
Ooh.
1 point apiece.
Oh, this is going to drive me insane because I'm probably going to get it wrong, but I've definitely seen who led the NBA in minutes this year. Okay. NBA in minutes. Who plays a zillion minutes? I'm going to go. It was Mikal Bridges. I'm almost positive about that. Final answer.
So that's the without playoffs.
Or do you want both? You want both right away before I give final?
I would like both, yeah.
Okay. Mikal Bridges, regular season. Did you say total minute? I'm sorry. Did you say total minutes or minutes per game?
Total.
Okay. I'm still sticking with Mikal Bridges, and then let's go Jason Tatum for playoffs. That was the final answer.
That's both correct.
Let's go! Yes, I'm gonna play with you this week.
Got me.
I knew Mikal. I'd seen that because when I made the case for why Mikal Bridges should be DPOY, I said that he led the NBA in minutes.
He did.
Let's go. Am I actually gonna win, Oh my gosh. Because I know you're not getting this hard question.
Really?
I went back to my roots here, and I gave you a baseball question, given how terrible your baseball knowledge is. So,
Oh, sweet.
this is also a very random question, which is also why I don't think you're going to get it. But here it is, Spinny. As you know, Ricky Henderson, just a steal machine. I don't know how the hell he did what he did. He has the steals record by like 450 or something ridiculous. Anyways, he has 1,406 steals.
Correct.
That doesn't necessarily have anything to do with this question. I just wanted to point how crazy that is.
Sweet.
Who is the active? So he's the all-time leader, right? Who is the active leader in steals?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Active leader in whoo, that's tough. Active leader in steals.
And I am going to tell you the number. That's why I wanted to say Ricky Henderson's number, because it's kind of hilarious how far apart they are.
Yeah. What's the number? You gonna tell me?
I can tell you the number. Yeah, I suppose that's not really a hint. The active leader in steals only has 336 steals.
Jeez. The game's obviously way different, but
Right.
You can calm me down.
10 seconds.
I'm trying to think of vets. It's got to be a vet,
5
right?
seconds.
I literally can't even think of anybody.
Think of a fast vet. I'll give you a little more time. This is a tough one.
Mike Trout. I don't know. Yes.
That is incorrect. The active leader in steals is D. Strange Gordon.
That makes sense. I would not have got that, though, honestly.
Can you think of another fast guy? Billy Hamilton is second.
Billy Hamilton. Oh, yeah.
I thought maybe
That's
you would know Billy Hamilton.
Okay. All right. That's fair.
So I'm the winner.
What do you mean
Finally.
you're the winner?
That was my hard question. You just got it wrong. I'm up 3-1.
What was your medium question?
You got that wrong, too. When did high school players not be allowed to go into the league? Yeah. You're still winning.
Well,
You had a 4-point lead coming in this week, though, so now I'm down by 2. So I have to get this to truly take the lead.
2-part question. No.
Gotta get it both.
Half
Okay.
and half. Yep.
All right.
Who leads the major leagues in RBIs and how many?
This year, right?
This season, currently as we sit.
Currently, as we sit.
On June 20th, 2022.
Yeah, so you did get today's numbers. I would imagine it's still got to be Jose Ramirez. And I'm giving him – God, I did look at his stats the other day, too. I'm going to give him 64 RBIs, Jose Ramirez. Final answer.
Wow, that's tough. Jose Ramirez is second. He leads the
Really?
AL,
Who passed him?
and he has 62 RBIs. So Jose was second, and the number, you got it, is correct, 64 RBIs.
It's an NL player?
It is an NL player.
Paul Goldschmidt.
Nope. Paulie's third with 58.
Who would have? Man, just tell me honestly.
Pete Alonso.
Really?
Yep. 64 RBIs for the Mets.
How did I not? I had no idea he was raking like that. Wow, good for Pete Alonso.
Yeah, Pete Alonso absolutely raking for the Mets.
Jeez, that's incredible. That's really impressive.
All right,
well,
I got too confident.
I got the win. You're still winning all time. So, I mean, who has the last laugh here, honestly?
Yeah, you still got you broke the streak though.
I did. That was
broke it.
That was an ugly streak.
It was an awesome streak.
For you, yeah.
Yeah, I look like the goat on his goat court. I look like Rafa Clay.
Wow,
right there. That's how that streak looked.
You would say that. You would pull that out. God. Get out of here.
Now what do we got for the peeps? For the
as you can
boys, girls, and people. What do we got for them?
Well, our awesome fans at least can see this. The ones that watch us on YouTube, so they can see our beautiful faces.
Yeah, we're doing that on YouTube, y'all. We're funnier in person.
Yeah, we are.
We're still not funny, but we're funnier in person. You know
exactly. Yeah. Good point. But yeah, we're doing the NBA mock draft. We're gonna do a first round. I promise you, we're not gonna fricking sit here and dive into each pick like 10 minutes each pick. We'll run through this so you don't get too bored. But it's interesting. It's fun. NBA drafts on Thursday for those that don't know. So make sure you tune into that. Let's start with pick 1. Let's see, we're in disagreement here. I changed mine from the first mock draft we did a couple weeks ago to Jabari now because that's just the rumors I'm seeing. I'm floating around is that's who they want is Jabari. I do have.
I'm still seeing chat rumors too.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
So one thing I do want to, because I mean, obviously these guys are like Paolo, Chet, Jabari. It's obvious who the top 3 will be, right? I do want to throw this out to you because I did see someone pose this question and I thought it was very, very interesting take.
Okay.
If you were the Magic, would you do a Tatum type trade and move from 1 to 3?
To take Paolo?
To take what? Like, you never know. One of the 3. You just live with the 3 and then gain more assets. Would you do that?
Depends on what I'm getting. But yeah,
right.
Potentially.
Yeah,
I think the difference is the C's had their guy and they knew he would drop to 3 given what they knew. So but if they're targeting Paolo, if that's their guy that they want, then I do it in 1 second. I think you gotta just go at your guy, whoever that is.
Speaking of Paulo, I do want to mention this before we jump to the next couple picks here. I did see right before we started recording here, he just went from a plus 1,600 to a plus 400 in betting to be the first pick. So
there's a big part of me that thinks Paulo's the best player in this draft.
I agree, at least immediately.
Again, given his playmaking is what makes it in the NBA, especially early on. It translates right away, court vision and all that stuff. And if he can develop any type of a 3-point jumper in the first couple of years, then I think he could definitely be a solid player.
Facts. Agree.
I went Chet here. Sorry. I didn't.
No, you have to say it. I didn't even give you your Chet, honestly.
I took Chet here because I actually do think he has the lowest floor as well.
Okay.
I think Chet's defense is underrated, and I think that he's not going to get pushed around necessarily like people think, or it doesn't really matter that he's getting pushed around because he's so long.
Right, exactly.
I think there's a lot of that going on, and so I think Chet's defensive impact gives him. I think he'll be a great shot blocker and shot contester and rim protector no matter what. So yes. I think that's an option there for Chet.
And exactly what you just said is why for here with the second pick went Chet over Paulo. The Thunder obviously need a rim protector. They've been without a big for quite some time. And so that's why I gave Chet
Puko or what?
Puko. Oh my gosh. So that's why I went
Puko.
Oh my God. Stop it. That's why I went Chet though over Paulo. So what are your thoughts on why you went Jabari over Paulo here?
I think Jabari has the biggest chance of being a bust city, but he also has the obviously amazing shooting ability, and I think given all the playmakers on the Thunder already, that fits in well here. And I think they're going to like that over Paulo, who's a guy similar to like Giddey that they already have.
That's fair. I like that reasoning. Then obviously we're in agreement here. Go ahead.
I stole this from KOC's mock, but I like the Gen Z Pau Gasol comparison for Chet Holmgren. Little
Gen
smaller.
Z. Okay.
Gen Z Pau Gasol. I thought that was very interesting. Obviously, more of a three-point shooter. Pau shot mid-range shots really good. That's just the difference in the age of the NBA that we're in. But maybe, especially early in Pau's career, a little smaller, lankier body. Going to take time to grow into it. Got decent touch and is offensively talented around the rim.
I kind of like that, honestly. I never would have thought of that comparison, but
me either.
I love how they threw the Gen Z in there. That's hilarious. But yeah, obviously we had to go Paulo here. We're in agreement since the other two were gone. These are obviously the top three, and I would be so absurdly shocked if these weren't the top three picks. Not necessarily in this order, but you know what I mean. So on to the fourth pick, Sacramento Kings. I'm going to let you jump into that statement you got right there because I think I agree with what you wrote down.
I think the Kings are going to try to trade back and get assets because there are teams interested in Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey is the fourth best player in this draft. I think it's those top three, a slight little gap, then Ivey, then a bigger gap than everyone else. That's how I see this draft a bit. He's definitely the best guard for sure. And I think Jaden Ivey's a hard worker. I think his three's going to come. He's already sees sparks of it. His mom's literally the Notre Dame basketball coach. His dad played in the NFL. His grandpa played in the NFL. Like, this man knows how to work, knows how to grind. And I think he's going to put the work in. And unless he gets hurt because of his play style, which I hate to say, but you have to think about, smaller guards like that don't necessarily last as long in the NBA. But as far as pure talent-wise, I think he's going to have a very productive scoring career in the NBA.
Completely agree with what you said about Ivy. I also low-key think they might trade this too. I saw rumors about it. It does make sense given where they're at. They obviously traded Tyrese for Sabonis, so they want to compete right now. So getting more assets and trying to help them compete now is a logical reason to trade back from this pick, I think. But why I had to go Ivy here in case they do keep this pick is just based on the Kings draft history, they always just pick the player at the highest upside. They never usually factor in fit or need or anything. And given they have De'Aaron Fox and Davion Mitchell, some would question us choosing Ivy. But like you said, Ivy is clearly the fourth best player, and he has the most potential at this point. So that's why I had to go Ivy here if they did end up keeping this pick.
Agreed.
Fifth pick, Los Detroit Pistons. I had to go Keegan Murray here. I think they're trading Grant, so I think Keegan Murray slides into where they had Jeremy Grant playing at that 4. So it just makes sense, and it's a logical switch to me. So I would be really shocked they didn't trade Jeremy Grant, honestly.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. I went a little bit bigger of a hype here. I tried to not fall in line with everybody on this part, and I gave Dyson Daniels a big jump the first time, and then he jumped up in draft stock already. So I'm like, you know what? We'll shoot my shot. Put in another good shooting guard that you can put in 3-and-D type of guy. You can put in with Bay and Cade, and he can get the job done there, I think, for the Pistons.
Yeah, Dyson, he climbed up my rankings as well, for sure.
I had him going to the Pacers here because they just got rid of Sabonis, and I think he fits in there at that forward spot that they just got rid of.
That makes sense. Did you hear what I said about Shaedon Sharpe?
I did not. Sorry.
Okay, Shaedon Sharpe, I just thought he'd fit in well with a Tyrese. That's a nice little 1-2 combo with Tyrese being more of the facilitator, and you can build around that. Obviously, there's questions around Sharpe, given you haven't seen him play competitively, but he's a stud, I think, and the only reason he would drop is because of that fact. So I can't picture him dropping too much farther than pick 8, I think, but I like the fit here with the Pacers.
Great.
Portland Trailblazers, 7th pick. This is where I had Dyson Daniels sliding in. I think he could play that 3. He's a good ball handler and playmaker. I think he could fit in well as a 3, though, because he's 6'8", and he could fit in well next to Dame and Anthony Simons. So I kind of like this fit here. They need another playmaker besides Dame and Simons. And so that's why I had to go Dyson Daniels.
I like it. Another wing here. Same with Benedict here. I think we got like Karis LeVert type vibes, 3-and-D shooter, athletic. So I think this could be another pick that fits for Portland. They're just looking for 3-and-D guards, I believe, at this point.
Right after you had him, I have Benedict here going to the 8th pick to New Orleans, a team that just snuck into the playoffs. They're obviously in win now mode, and I think a 3-and-D guard off the bench, another guy that's explosive. He's got high athleticism, so I think having that off your bench would be amazing. You help space the floor a little more for CJ Ingram and Zion. So that's where I had Benedict going.
Agreed. Sharp, I don't think he drops past 8. Just too talented here. So I think the Pelicans would be thrilled to have an opportunity for a talent guy to drop this far to them at 8.
Facts. Spurs. Another slight disagreement here, but I think both of our reasonings are probably on par. They just need more interior defense to me, and I think if they get Jalen Duren, they can flip Jakob Poeltl for something. Last year there was already teams offering them first round picks, and they were rejecting them. So I think if you get a Jalen Duren, then you can maybe finally ship out Jakob Poeltl and get some more assets back there. And I mean, this guy is a freaking freak. He had like 6% body fat or something insane, and he's like 250. So yeah, he's just a freak athlete, and he's also the youngest player in the draft too. So
yeah, Jeremy Sochan obviously is a great two-way player, 6'9", 230, just a big, strong, could do it all wing. Shooting's a little sketchy, obviously, but his playmaking and stuff can be there. Shades of Draymond Green, honestly, as a player here, I think, for Jeremy. Hopefully he can keep moving his playmaking along to get to that point. Jalen Duren, I pronounce his name wrong every single stinking time.
Same.
I see shades of shot blocking ability too from him that I think could be big in the league and impactful, possibly right away.
Right, I agree. So yeah, that's probably why you had him going here to 10, huh? The Wizards.
Yeah, I think the Wizards are going to try to get rid of Kristaps if they can, and even if they can't, he can play next to Jalen. Obviously, you can play big like that, which could be good for the Wizards as well, especially if they keep Beal.
And that's kind of why. So like when I'm making these, I'm making them with their current rosters. Like I'm assuming they're keeping Beal when I'm thinking of this mock draft. So that's why I'm going Johnny Davis, because he's a great defender. He could come in and make an impact right away. He's never going to be, his ceiling is not very high, but I think he has a pretty solid floor. And the dude has an amazing work ethic, which you definitely want that out of a guy, especially in this range, the late lottery range. You want a guy that's at least going to work his ass off and get better. So he's already got the defense, and he's got that work ethic. And so, yeah, that's why I got him here going to the Wizards. I think they would really like that off the bench. 11th pick belongs to the New York Knicks. I see here you got him picking a foreign player. That wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. I had them going AJ Griffin here. They need shooting really bad, extremely bad. And percentage-wise, he is quite possibly the best three-point shooter in this draft. So it just makes sense. It fits. And I could see them going this route for sure. What do you got on Usman?
Usman, 6'10", 200. Really good ball handler, really good playmaker. Shot creation is crazy cool sometimes. Does a lot of cool stuff with the ball, really good finisher at the rim. He's just not proven to consistently be able to shoot the three or be efficient in his scoring. So does a lot of things with ball handling and playmaking, but has to get there on the scoring realm to bring it around. But he has a huge upside, 6'10", 200, athletic, crazy ball handler, playmaker. So I think they're going upside here for the Knicks.
Yeah, that's fair. I did have Usman dropping a little bit farther in my draft for the reasons you just said of the scoring he needs to improve on a little bit. But the Thunder, I would like this very well if I was the Thunder. You get, in my mock draft here at least, you get Chet number 2, rim blocking 5. He'd play 5 for you, and then you slide in Jeremy Sohan at the 4. That'd be amazing. So you got a team that needs interior defense so badly to get 2 of possibly the best interior defenders. And Sohan, he can do it all. He's not just interior. He's capable of switching on the guards and stuff as well. He's long and quick enough. So I like Sohan. I think his floor is pretty solid because given how great he is at defense, and as long as he's able to improve on his 3-point shooting and his offense, he will be a great player in the league, or at least a great role player at least. Like he's going to be like your 4 or 5 on a team that will guard the best player every night, pretty much.
Especially if he can develop a jump shot, then he'll really be a steal. AJ Griffin, I think honestly he's one of the best scorers in this draft. Pure scorers, especially talent wise. He's 6'6", 220. So if someone can get him a little defensive fundamentals and get him to move his feet and get him committed, I think he could potentially be a 3-and-D guy, even though his college defense was concerning. So I think there's a huge upside here with Griffin. And like you said, either of these picks, if I'm getting this guy with a Cheddar Jabari, I'm gonna be really happy as the Thunder.
Hornets, 13th pick. And honestly, now that I'm looking at your pick and how you organize this, I messed up, and you're probably going to be more accurate with your mock draft with how the Hornets are handling their 13th and 15th picks here. I had them picking Mark Williams first because they need a big more than anything, right? So a guy that can rebound and block shots like that, you're gonna want Mark Williams. But having said that, I do think that they could have probably waited till 15th to take him, given that the 14th pick belongs to the Cavs, who obviously don't need a big. So unless that pick is, unless a team jumps in and trades into that pick, that would be the only reason why Mark Williams couldn't be able to fall to 15th. So I might be wrong here, but I'm jumping with Mark Williams at 13th for an obvious fit.
Yeah, that's why I left Williams for 13 or for 15 is because of the Cavs pick there in between. I think Abaji is a perfect classic 3-and-D guy. So I have him going there, and then the Hornets could sneak in after the Cavs and still get Mark Williams.
And 14th pick belongs to the Cavs, as we said. I'm going Malachi Branham. 3-and-D scorer. They need a scoring wing really bad, and this guy can get buckets. Efficient, too. Last year, he shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3. So, and he averaged like 18 points a game behind E.J. Liddell. So he's a great scorer. He's capable defender as well. And I think this fits very well given their obvious need for a scoring wing.
Agreed. Again, Johnny Davis. I think I have the Caps be ecstatic to have him here. Shades of a little throwback, see if Bus remembers this guy. Shades of Devin Harris from Johnny Davis.
Low key, I like that.
You like that reach out there?
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good one, I think. And I think the Caps would be happy here, obviously, given his potential and work ethic. Like you said, those were big things I'd written about him. Good defender, can kind of throw him in and get the Cavs back to the style of everyone can defend and shoot except Garland. I think that's kind of what they're going for. So,
15th pick, as we obviously said, you already have Mark here. I had Oshai, so we just flipped ours. Yeah, and one more thing I want to say about Oshai, obviously he's a great 3-and-D prospect. He's older, he went to college for quite some time. He's 22. I think that helps him be a guy that could make more of an impact immediately. So that's why I think they go here instead of another 3-and-D guy. And I think he could pair well with LaMelo. You want to comment on Mark Williams, or that's just pretty obvious at this point?
Yeah, no, big shot blocker, can contest. He just needs to make sure his feet movement can guard on the perimeter. That's obviously a worry with him, but as long as he can move forward with that development, then I think that could be a good pick.
Yeah, that's a good point about Mark Williams. He definitely needs to up his lateral quickness for sure in today's NBA. Hawks here. I don't necessarily know how I like the fit for Usman on the Hawks here. But as you said, I mean, this guy's 6'9", 6'10", with handles and great playmaker. So I wouldn't be surprised if he fell into late lottery. But at this point of the draft, with a team that's obviously in win now mode with the Hawks, I think this guy could come in and be a stud. And it's also got that mix of potential too. So I kind of like this for the Hawks, and I couldn't see him falling any farther than this, honestly.
Agreed. I like Eason here. They're obviously trying to trade Collins, so he could slip in at that 3-4 kind of spot. 6'7", 220. And I think he gives them a lot of what Collins doesn't on the hustle and defensive aspect, and still has the athleticism and interior scoring at the same time, which is more of the type of guy they're looking for, I think.
Yeah, I like Tari. He's very good and very versatile defender, which is why I got him going here to 17th to the Rockets. Obviously, I had him picking Paulo. We both did. At this point, they need more defenders. They got so many guys that can get buckets. They need defense. They have no defenders on the team whatsoever. Tari Eason will bring that. And I'll let you talk about Jalen Williams, but that's, I'm sure, the same reason why you threw him there.
Yeah, Jalen Williams, I see like maybe Sadiq Bey or OG Anunoby or something like that in his game. He shot almost 40% from three, averaged 18 per game doing that, and 4 assists. Real perimeter shooter. Decent playmaker, not great, but never doesn't turn the ball over a lot. Really feels the game well. 44% of his catch and shoot threes. So when he's coming off screens and stuff, he can work off the ball super, super well, especially with Houston's going to have Jalen Green and Paul being theoretically, if this happens, like we say, both being ball dominant. He's a guy who can not be ball dominant. Plus, he's 6'6", 210 and athletic and can play a little bit of defense. So I thought it was great on Jalen Williams here. If he would have developed earlier, his game grew, and his game came later when he was in college. He would have went to a D1 place or not a bigger D1 type.
Yeah, high end D1.
And been really dominant, but he did a lot still there at Santa Clara.
Yeah, I agree with that last name he made there. Ooh, 18th pick. It's not very common that you see this far into the draft agreements, but we're in agreement with EJ Liddell here. I mean, this dude, he's obviously going to be undersized given he's going to have to play the 4. He's only 6'7", but he is a freak athlete, very strong, and he's mobile. He's got lateral quickness. He can move up and down. It's not like he's slow by any means. So, and he adds front court depth, which the Bulls very, very, very badly need. And he's also a good shooter. So these are a lot of boxes checked by EJ Liddell, and I don't honestly know. He doesn't have a ton of potential or upside, I should say, and he's also, like I said, undersized, which is the only reason why he's fallen, because he's got every other box checked, in my eyes at least.
Yeah, I see shades of like Brandon Clark maybe with him, a little less athletic version of that, or like who played with Al Horford in the Hawks, the power forward,
like Josh Smith.
Josh Smith, yeah, that's a good one, but still less athletic than that, slightly, I would say. But I think his ceiling is above average role player, so I think that's obviously a little bit of a concern. But at this point, you're just taking shots.
And finally, the 19th pick, our pick, the Wolves. Let's go. We are going to talk probably a little longer about this pick, just because I want to throw some random situations out here. Ty Washington's who I had going, as I said 20, 30 minutes ago, I anticipate a D'Lo trade this offseason, and if we get rid of D'Lo, we obviously need a point guard. So that's why I had to go Ty here. What do you got about Jovic?
I want more Jovic. I want a tall, athletic guy. Obviously, Jovic's shooting is a little bit of a concern, but again, 6'10", 220. He grew up shorter, so he has those guard skills. Really good finishing at the rim. Just needs to develop a jump shot, which who knows if that'll come or not. I
think it's coming.
I picked this one more out of want than feel. The thing is, I would be very not loving the Ty Washington pick because I don't think this man can play in a big playoff series. I don't think he can play defense. I think he'll get picked apart, and he's not. I'd rather have a longer, lankier wing to fit with the Wolves. I think we have enough playmaking. I think we need shooting and defense. So
I don't know I'm skeptical about our playmaking if we don't have D'Lo because he was our leading assister last year. Ant's not that much of a playmaker; he's more of a scorer, and obviously same with Cat. So I'm kind of skeptical about where we're going to get our playmaking from. That's why I had to go.
Pat Bev, what do you mean?
Oh, he's capable. He is capable. But the only worry about Jovic, I did even have this written down. If we're not taking a point guard here, my other preferred pick is Jovic. So I did write that down. I do want him. I think he's got good upside, especially if he fell this far to 19. But I kind of just went mind blank there. But I'll just jump to a different point. Another two guys that I was thinking of that we could go is defender because we obviously need defense. We need defense, right? So Jalen Williams, we just talked about him. I think we could use Jalen Williams on our team or a Marjan Beauchamp. I think I pronounced that right. We're going to get into him a little bit. We have him later in this draft. That's another guy that is just going to be a freak wing defender that will fall this far, no doubt about it. So those are some other guys on my radar here. But, yeah, for sure Jovic was – I circled his name right away. I was like, we could actually get this man here for sure. I'm kind of concerned, though, because now if we get Jovic, that means Cat is our 5. Because Jovic is a 4. So,
true.
I don't know.
I don't know if I love that defensively, but.
Right. And I do also think there's a chance that this pick is traded. If we package it with D'Lo for maybe a better player, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. But if that happened, this pick would obviously get traded. So there's that slight chance there. And I've also been seeing rumors that we're going to slide into the first round again because we have 3 second-round picks, pick 40, 46, I think, and 50-something. So a lot of people think we're going to trade those 3 picks with maybe something else if we have to get back into the late first round, which I obviously wouldn't be opposed to that either. So
why not? Full sense for the Wolves. Let's see what the Tim Connolly era brings.
Exactly. And Tim Connolly we trust. Jalen Williams, though, in pick 20. Was that an
Tim Connolly, we're solid, but we'll see. All
right. Jalen Williams, though, pick 20 to the Spurs is where I got him. I mean, we've obviously gone over him. He's very good defender. This man, one thing you didn't mention, though, Spinny, this man has a 7'2" wingspan. He's 6'6". Like, what? Yeah. That's why I know this man's going to be a freak defender in the NBA. He got arms like that. He's just poking out every ball that goes by him. Are you kidding me? That's insane to think about. Like, he probably literally stands up straight and scratches his knee without even have to bend over. Like, Holy moly. All right, that's all I got, Jalen. What do you got on Ty?
Ty is too good of a scorer and I mean – I think he at least can be a 15 to 18 a game scorer off the bench as like quickly or like
I could see that.
Or like a shorter like Tyler Hero maybe, not as good of a shooter obviously, more of a playmaker, but just that kind of 6-man type role. And I think at this point, his playmaking and scoring ability is too good to not take him.
That's fair. And, of course, when you're trying to throw comparisons out, you throw out 2 Kentucky guys, of course. Denver Nuggets. I'm going Jaden Hardy here. I think this guy is a dude that could have possibly been a top 10 pick given where he was fresh out of high school. I think he was 3rd or 4th overall recruit. So he was above numerous names that I had getting picked in the top 10. I mean, Jabari Smith being one of them, who I had projected 1st overall. So he was already ranked higher than those type of guys a couple of years ago, but he fell because of his performance in the G League. He was very, very inconsistent, and his shot selection was atrocious at times. That's why if you look up his G League stats, you'll see like a 36% shooting clip, even though he led the G League in scoring. He was the leading scorer in the G League. So it's just obviously elite scorer, but the inconsistency and the shot selection is why he's going to fall later in this draft. And at this point, the team that's competing will 100% take a guy like that to try to help them win even more. So that's why I had to go Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, I went Branham here. I had him drop it a little bit. Shot 40% from three on 13 points a game. It was only in 80 total 3-point attempts. So obviously it's on a small sample size, but I think he has 3-and-D potential if he can keep his shot consistent. So I think at this point you're loving that potential if you're the Nuggets. Guy that can play next to could be that Will Barton or hopefully a better version of him type guy next to Murray and Porter.
Yeah, and I do think they're probably going to move Barton this offseason, so that fit would be good there with Branham. Wow, another agreement by us here. With the 22nd pick, Memphis Grizzlies, their first pick of the draft. We both got them taking Walker Kessler, I think, pretty obvious reasons here. They need another big. They were starting Steven Adams and stuff like that, and they had to go Brandon Clark, small ball 5 for majority of the playoffs, and I don't think you want to do that. I don't think that's a recipe for success. Not saying Clark was bad, because he obviously played really well, especially against the Wolves, but you want another 7-footer down there, a guy that's going to, intimidate shots, and that's definitely what Walker Kessler does. Led the country in shot blocking last year.
Yeah, 4.5 blocks a game, 1.1 steals a game. Wonderful rim protector. It adds a guy when Jaren Jackson undoubtedly falls out of 3 out of the 7 games in your playoff series. It gives you another guy that can affect the interior on the defensive end. So I think this would be a nice guy that could maybe even play on the perimeter at least better than a Steven Adams type guy who's unexpected.
Right, exactly. Yeah. He still obviously has the lateral quickness question marks, but he's definitely going to do better than Steven Adams, though. That's for sure.
Agreed.
23rd pick, Philadelphia 76ers. This is a guy that Dallin Terry is who I went with. He's from Arizona, for those that don't know. Just a long, tough physical guard, and he's a playmaker. So he can make plays, and that's exactly what a team like this needs. They severely lacked playmaking when Harden or Maxey wasn't on the court, which were both starters. So they need a playmaker off the bench, and this guy could slide in very well, Dallin Terry.
Big thing with him is consistency on the 3-point shooting line is a little sketchy.
Yes.
He did have good percentages in college, 36.4, but again, only on 77 attempts, and his shot is looks weird.
Right, and he only
freshman year, 8.
He only averaged like 8 points.
Yeah. Way more of a D than a scorer here for Terry, but I went with Blake Wesley because he's more fits what the Sixers draft, I feel like. Ball handler, also a playmaker. He can get a bucket from anywhere. Very good shot creator, feel for the game. Again, he shot 32% from 3, but that was on 170 attempts, so shot a lot more. 2.2 turnovers per game on 2.5 assists. That's obviously a little concerning assist-to-turnover ratio there, but 14 points a game. He's just a little raw yet, but I think you see a little bit more of the upside development on the offensive end from Wesley.
And I like that, and I noticed here we flipped him around. So 24th pick, we just flipped him around. Exact same reasons. I mean, it's obvious another contender, I should say, here with the Bucks. So this is obvious, amazing fit for both players in my eyes. I think this would be well. Or this would.
I just went Bucks with Terry here because I feel like he's more of a Bucks type of guy, and Wesley's more of a Sixers type of guy, and what they are about on their team.
That's fair. San Antonio Spurs. Yeah, I just went before we start on this. I just went vice versa because I think I just went more upside. I think Terry has a little more upside because he's already an elite defender. If he can figure out that offensive game, then he could maybe be good. So that's just why I went him ahead. But the Spurs here with the 25th pick, another pick they got. They actually have 3 picks in the first round. So look for them to maybe even make some trades, like you said. Maybe they'll ship out trades, try to get more assets to try to get Levine to come there and team up with Murray, like your bold take was. But I had Jovic at this point. He can't fall any farther. I mean, I would be shocked to even hit 25. So I probably won't be right here, but there's a guy with 3-level scoring potential that's 6'10", 6'11", 19 years old. I mean, why wouldn't you want a player like that? So that's why I had to throw Jovic here at this point. Also, another quick point: Spurs are a team that do tend to draft foreign players.
True. Jaden Hardy, actually a top high school recruit who had an awful G League season. And so his draft stock dropped a lot. Shot 26% from 3, still averaged 17.7 a game. Big thing, he had 3.5 turnovers, only 3.2 assists, so more turnovers than assists. He needs to improve efficiency-wise.
Right.
Taking better shots, not turning the ball over and stuff. But at this point, you're drafting for potential, and a guy that had that top high school recruit potential, I think, is a guy you'd really look for late in the draft.
Yeah, completely agree there. 26th pick, Rockets back on the board. Here's where I got my guy Marjan Beauchamp. Holy moly, I think I said it right. Another guy that played in the G League. I mentioned him earlier as a guy that he's a freak athlete. He can defend. He's also a great cutter too. From what the scouting reports that I've read, he's a very, very good cutter and possibly the best cutter in this draft. Which, as we've predicted here, Paulo and Jalen Green, that would fit them very well. If they're going to be the playmakers, they need guys that are going to cut and score without having the ball in their hands. So that fits very well, and obviously helps with the defensive aspect as well. We got about Bryce. I didn't even know. Honestly, didn't even know this guy.
I can't believe you didn't have him on your board. I was blown away that you did not have him in your draft. This guy averaged 16.8 points a game during the season last year for Nebraska. Only shot 27% from 3, but that was on a lot of bad shots. That's his big thing. He takes some bad shots. He shot 83.5% from the free throw line. So he's got that shooting touch potential. He just needs to improve his shot making. And he's not very fundamental. He's kind of got the ball hog qualities and stuff that needs to come out. But on a potential-wise, he's 6'5", 180, more of a bigger guard that could even play next to Jaw if he can figure out his scoring. But
you mean Jalen Green?
Jalen Green. I'm sorry, Jalen Green. And a big thing, is he could play next to Jalen Green, and he could be a backup point guard also very well. He does a lot of things athletically that would be nice for the Rockets.
All right, well that's interesting. I didn't do my homework very well, I guess, because I literally hadn't heard of this guy until I looked at who you put on your board, and I was like, holy moly, I might be slacking here. So Bryce McGowan, he kind of sounds, based on what your scouting report, he kind of sounds like a Jaden Hardy, essentially. Dropping because of inconsistency and poor decision making, pretty much.
Yep.
27th pick. This is a pick I did end up changing right before we started here. I had to go
nice. Sweet. Pick copy or bust. Classic.
I had to. They need another point guard. And this guy, I mean, his only knock, honestly, is his height. Because he can play make, he can score pretty well, especially for his height. And he's actually really freaking feisty on the defensive end. Mm-hmm. And obviously they're going to post him up. That's going to be the biggest issue. Like I said, it's height. But if you're that feisty, I mean, he seemed to do really well last year for Tennessee. You know,
especially if he can keep getting stronger. You know, he's only about 170, 175 right now. If he can play more at the 190 to 195 range, I think he'll have a chance to be like, not necessarily as good as this guy, but more of a Kyle Lowry build as a player.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
more that thick defender who's, even though he's short, can make up for it with being strong. I think Chandler could eventually come around to that. And obviously, assist to turnover ratio, great. 3-point shooting, very good. Two steals a game on defense. So
yeah, exactly.
Lots of good things from Chandler too.
Yeah, I agree. 28th pick, Golden State Warriors, your NBA champs. I am kind of confused. Maybe I'm just an idiot, but why the hell do they have the 28th pick and not the 30th pick? Do you know that? Do you understand that?
Nope,
is this like a traded pick? I don't get it. I don't understand.
I'm a little behind. The Nuggets have 30th. It must have been traded, right? Nuggets have pick 30.
Because, yeah, I mean, the Warriors have a 20th pick, but they just won the title. But anyways, Jake LaRavia, I think. This is a guy that's been climbing the boards. He is a 3-and-D forward from Wake Forest that, given his size, 6'9", big body, and can shoot, that's why he's been climbing up the boards. I mean, he shot 40%. So this guy can knock him down, and obviously that fits the Warriors mold. So I think he would fit in really well with the Warriors system.
I went with Christian here because I think the Warriors could package Wiseman and something else in, like maybe a Beal or another scorer type situation, and then they try to get that shot blocking and low defensive ability here. And also, James Wiseman could be a bust still. We haven't seen much from him, so they might just take a late round shot as a fallback just in case.
This was my other option here. I was debating back and forth for quite some time between Jake and Christian. So I do like your pick here. Second to last pick of the first round, Memphis Grizzlies back on the board. I'm going Christian Braun just because he does the little things that help you win. Obviously, a team like the Grizzlies, they were close. They had second seed going into the playoffs. They lost to the Warriors, obviously, and who ended up winning it all. So they need to get more guys that will do the little things to win and don't necessarily need the ball in their hands to be effective or anything like that. I mean, he's got size. This dude's actually 6'7". I thought he was more like a 6'5" guy, so that kind of shocked me when I saw his height. 6'7" guard who is capable and strong enough to switch onto fours, especially in the NBA, given that it's more perimeter oriented now. So I do like Christian Bond, 3-and-D defender that, again, he'll cut, he'll set screens, he'll do all that stuff as you saw at Kansas. And I think, honestly, he kind of messed up because now he's looking at this late first round, early second as his projection. I think if he stayed at Kansas one more year, he would have been probably more around 20.
I
think
agree.
He could have jumped even higher. So I think he should have waited one more year.
And this is another guy, Josh Minot, that I thought could have waited another year and jumped as well. I had him at pick 10 a month ago in our original draft. So he obviously has dropped a lot. Some concerns about his ability. But I think his talent is there, and the Grizzlies could take a shot late here in the draft, try to get someone with some good upside.
Yep, and that's exactly why I went him for a pick 30 here to the Nuggets. Exact reasons.
Yep. And I went with
I want to hear you try to say his name.
Is it Marion? Or is it?
Oh my gosh! Is it Marion? Oh my gosh! I literally said Marjan. If it's Marion, I feel so embarrassed.
And the last name looks like Beauchamp to me.
Right, it says Beauchamp, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would go with, but I don't know. I'm sorry to my guy for butchering your name here. He just needs to improve as a shooter. This man does everything else. If he can improve as a shooter, he'll possibly be well in the league. If not, he's probably Matisse Thybulle and can never come around on the offensive end. But either way, I think he has defensive upside.
That's a good point. I like that. Well, that's it. That was our mock draft. I think we did pretty well, I guess. We'll find out in a couple days.
We're gonna get about 75% of it wrong anyways, you know, but that's how it goes. So
all right, quick prediction from you then, Spinny. Are we gonna beat our NFL mock draft score? I think we might. I feel like
we can't do much worse, so I think we probably
3-2.
Exactly.
3-2, I think it was, with all of our correct picks coming in the top 10. It would have been right after that. Yeah, we might be looking at that some more, honestly, come Thursday night, but we'll find out. Well, that's it for this episode, fans. We don't have a Q&A this week. We're skipping that. And
I did want one thing at the end of the show that we didn't mention, and that's the NHL playoffs.
Oh my God.
Avs up 2-0, just one game, 7-0, absolutely destroyed the Lightning. We both picked Capitals over Lightning, so come ups for us on the hockey playoffs.
Yeah, wow. Two guys that don't know hockey,
but don't count the Lightning out yet.
Right.
The back-to-back champs are still here, and we could see a big comeback, especially if the goaltending improves. Lightning goaltender looks like he's just in his head too much, so you never know. That lock-in could come.
7-0. I was so upset actually watching that because, obviously we picked the Avs, but I do low-key want the Lightning to win just because.
Yeah, me too. So bleep the Avs, honestly.
Bleep the Avs.
Bleep the Avs, man.
Well, I think we should have the episode that way. Bleep the Avs.
Bleep the Avs. Hug your friends and family.
Hug your friends and family.
And peace and love.
And we will see all you Hardies and Hardos next week.